If you look at historically in the United States and elsewhere, the enemy within is a two-prong issue. Salem, Massachusetts, 1692, America. Salem witch trials, where innocent people tried and executed for being witches. And witches were the enemy within. The reality was the enemy within didn't exist. They killed innocent people trying to get at the enemy within. First, 1917 to 1920 in America, we had the Communist Red Scare. 1950, Senator Joseph McCarthy, with his McCarthyism, fear that communism was going to take over America, ended up lots of people's lives were ruined. Many Hollywood entertainers were on the blacklist and they couldn't work. Lives were destroyed because of the enemy within was the communist scare, that communists would take over America. But what happened was the people who were led by this Senator McCarthy were in fact more the enemy within than anybody, because they started attacking innocent people in the name of trying to find this elusive enemy and destroying people's careers and their lives. In this event, we actually had an enemy, which was our threat of communism that was going to wave over America and cripple us and steal us away and make us a communist country. It sounds a little bit like the Muslim menace that we have here, the enemy within. Nazi Germany, the enemy within was the Jews. No one would have assumed that the enemy was actually Hitler until he had so much momentum and so much power that he was nearly an unstoppable force. So again, we have to watch out for the enemy within the enemy within. It's those who warn us of an enemy within and have a plan that takes away our rights, our freedoms, our lives, and attacks people. That's what we have to protect against. I think that's the real enemy within, because I think President Bush, was probably well-intentioned. And I'm sure he has still millions of followers here in America who are very glad that he fought the war on terror, which is Robert Mugabe, the leader of Zimbabwe. This guy rose to power fighting, which was a tangible enemy within, which was the colonialists, the white people that had taken over their country and had run their country. The colonialists are gone. But now, things have gone sideways. This guy has a stranglehold on the power. And whenever anybody defies him, he calls them the enemy within. He somehow links them to colonialism. So as their government spirals and falls apart and it costs over $1 billion to buy a loaf of bread, he blames the colonialists. And if you argue, then you are one of the colonialists. And you are the enemy within, and they'll put a tire over your neck and they'll light it on fire and burn you to death. And his defense is, I'm fighting the enemy within. But the enemy within is gone, and the real enemy is him and his oppressive power, his oppressive might. There always seems to be two. There's the enemy, whether it's real or imaginary, and then there are those who will help defend us against the enemy within. Those are the ones I am the most scared of.
Radio.